Good morning, dear students. In the previous video, we have completed with the topic gene disorders, otherwise called Mendelian disorders. And in this video, I'll be going to explain you the chromosomal disorders. And if you remember, genetic disorders are classified into gene disorders and chromosomal disorders. So gene disorder, which we have already studied, I already told you, when the problem is with a single defective gene, such type of genetic disorders are called gene disorders or Mendelian disorders. But today's topic is chromosomal disorders, means these are the problems associated with the presence of defective chromosomes, means defect may be in the chromosome structure or problem may be with the chromosome number. And in our syllabus, the three chromosomal disorders are explained, which are based on the problem with chromosome number, means it is associated with the presence of an extra copy of chromosome or deletion of an existing copy of chromosome. And what are those chromosomal disorders and what is the reason behind chromosomal disorders, we are going to discuss in this video. And coming to chromosomal disorders, if you ask me what is the main reason for chromosomal disorders, it is written on the board. Chromosomal disorders are caused due to the non-disjunction of chromosomes at the time of gamete formation. The first point and the most important point students should remember, chromosomal disorders are the result of what? Chromosomal disorders are the result of non-disjunction of chromosomes. Non-disjunction, in very simple terms, fail to segregate according to law of segregation. It is very clear, at the time of gamete formation, pair of chromosomes segregate or separate in such a way that each gamete receives one copy of chromosome from a pair of chromosomes. But unfortunately, at the time of gamete formation, when a pair of chromosomes fail to segregate, gametes are going to be abnormal and it results in the formation of chromosomal disorder. So, the ultimate reason for chromosomal disorders is the non-disjunction of chromosomes at the time of gamete formation. Non-disjunction means, in very simple terms, it is fail to segregate. And the chromosomal disorders given in the syllabus are classified into autosomal disorders and allosomal disorders. It is very clear, in human DNA, total 23 pairs of chromosomes are present. Out of these 23 pairs of chromosomes, as you all know, first 22 pairs of chromosomes are autosomes. So with this it is very clear, when the problem is with first 22 pairs of chromosomes or when the problem is in the first 22 pairs of chromosomes, we should call such chromosomal disorder as autosomal disorder. When the problem is associated with 23rd pair of chromosomes, we should call such chromosomal disorder as allosomal disorder. In this way, chromosomal disorders are broadly classified into autosomal disorders and allosomal disorders. And what is the main reason for chromosomal disorders? Non-disjunction of chromosomes at the time of gamete formation. And coming up with the first category of chromosomal disorders, that is autosomal disorders. For autosomal disorders, in the syllabus, the disorder discussed is given is Down syndrome, and this condition of Down syndrome reported for the first time by Dr. Langdon Down. As this condition was reported in human for the first time by Dr. Langdon Down, named after Langdon Down, this problem is called Down syndrome. And remember, in the human population, out of all the chromosomal disorders, the most common chromosomal disorder in the human population is Down syndrome. And according to statistics, when a 660 live births take place, out of the 660 live births, one baby suffers from this syndrome called Down syndrome. So that's why out of the chromosomal disorders, the most common chromosomal disorder observed in human population, that is Down syndrome. And Down syndrome has other name. Other name for Down syndrome is Mongolism, or otherwise called mongoloid idiocy. So Mongolism or mongoloid idiocy is the other name for which chromosomal disorder? Down syndrome. And what is the reason for Down syndrome? And the reason for Down syndrome is 21st trisomy. So 21st trisomy is responsible for chromosomal disorder called Down syndrome. So what is 21st trisomy? It is very clear. In the 21st pair, 2 copies of autosomes are naturally present. In the condition of Down syndrome, an extra copy of autosome is added to the 21st pair of chromosomes. I repeat, in Down syndrome, what is the reason for Down syndrome? 21st trisomy. What do you mean by trisomy here? Instead of 2 copies of autosomes in 21st pair, how many copies of autosomes are present? 3 copies of autosomes are present. So that's why I am saying that an additional copy of autosome is added to the 21st pair of chromosomes. That's why this condition is called 21st trisomy. So Down syndrome is the best example for autosomal trisomy, because already you know up to 22nd pair autosomes, right? And where the extra copy of autosome is added here, I said in the 21st pair. So in our syllabus, the best example for autosomal trisomy is nothing but Down syndrome. So students should remember, Down syndrome is an example for autosomal trisomy. Down syndrome is the result of 21st trisomy, and it is one of the most common chromosomal disorder in human population. It is also called Mongolism. And most importantly, in competitive exams, the commonly asked questions are: what is the karyotype of Down syndrome? What is the karyotype of Klinefelter syndrome? Such questions are asked. And hope you all know simple terms: karyotype. What is karyotype? Arrangement of chromosomes within the genome of an organism. So arrangement of chromosomes in the genome of an organism is called karyotype. And what is the karyotype of a person suffering from Down syndrome? So Down syndrome being autosomal, male baby may suffer from Down syndrome or female baby may suffer from Down syndrome. When a male is suffering from Down syndrome, what is the karyotype? 45 plus XY. So 45 plus XY is the karyotype of a male baby suffering from Down syndrome. It is very clear. In healthy condition, how many pairs of autosomes are present? 22 pairs of autosomes. 22 means it should be 44. But here, to the 21st pair, an extra copy of autosome is added. So that's why, what is the total number of autosomes? 45 autosomes are present, and plus 1 copy of X chromosome, 1 copy of Y chromosome. So what is this 45 plus XY? It is the karyotype of a male baby suffering from Down syndrome. And when a female baby takes birth with Down syndrome, what is the karyotype? Obviously, that is 45 plus XX. So directly remember, 45 plus XY is the karyotype of a male baby with Down syndrome. 45 plus XX is the karyotype of female baby with Down syndrome. And finally, Down syndrome is characterized by the presence of an epicanthus. Epicanthus is nothing but an additional fold of skin in the upper eyelid. Due to the presence of this epicanthus only, Down syndrome is otherwise called mangolism. And other symptoms of Down syndrome include small round head, flat back of the head, furrowed tongue, congenital heart disease, mental retardation and characteristic palm crease are the important symptoms of Down syndrome. So students should go through NCERT text thoroughly because symptoms are mentioned many and you may get a question which of the following is not the symptom of Down syndrome. So what are the important symptoms? Flat back of the head, small round face, congenital heart disease, characteristic palm crease, long and furrowed tongue, mental retardation are the important symptoms of Down syndrome. Now, let us start with the allosomal disorders. So, till now we have completed with autosomal disorders. Now, the allosomal disorders in human population. It is very clear. 23rd pair of chromosomes are called allosomes. So, whenever the problem is with the 23rd pair of chromosomes, such type of chromosomal disorders are called allosomal disorders. And if you ask me, what is the exact reason for allosomal disorders? My simple answer, failure of segregation of 23rd pair of chromosomes at the time of gamete formation or non-disjunction of 23rd pair of chromosomes at the time of gamete formation. And students try to understand, a normal female karyotype is (44 plus XX). When a female forms a gamete, each gamete condition is 22 plus X, right? Means each gamete carries 22 autosomes and one copy of X chromosome. But just imagine if 23rd pair of chromosomes fail to segregate, so one gamete receives 22 autosomes plus 2 copies of X chromosomes. And when this abnormal female gamete having 24 chromosomes is fertilized by the normal male gamete, that is 22 autosomes plus Y chromosome. Now 22 autosomes plus 1 copy of Y chromosome, 22 autosomes plus 2 copies of X chromosome. Now the zygote will be having 44 autosomes and 3 allosomes. Now this is an abnormality in allosomes, right? And that is the reason for allosomal disorder. So simply speaking, failure of segregation of 23rd pair of chromosomes result in the formation of allosomal disorders. The two allosomal disorders given in our syllabus are Klinefelter syndrome and Turner syndrome. First, let us discuss Klinefelter syndrome. And important aspects about Klinefelter syndrome I have clearly written here. Klinefelter syndrome is the example for allosomal trisomy. Name itself indicates an additional copy of X chromosome is added to the 23rd pair of chromosomes. Means in 23rd pair, instead of 2 copies of chromosomes, how many copies of chromosomes are present? 3 copies of chromosomes are present. Hence I am calling this condition as what? Trisomy. Already you know that allosomes are nothing but 23rd pair of chromosomes, right? Hence I have simply written 23rd trisomy or allosomal trisomy results in a condition called Klinefelter syndrome. And this condition was reported for the first time by Dr. Klinefelter. So named after Dr. Klinefelter, this problem is now called Klinefelter syndrome. And remember, Klinefelter syndrome is the result of 23rd trisomy. It is an example for allosomal trisomy. Karyotype of a baby takes birth with Klinefelter syndrome is 44XXY. So 22 pairs of autosomes. There is no problem with autosomes. Here the problem is in 23rd pair. What is the problem? You can clearly see here. In normal male, karyotype is 44 plus XY. But here the karyotype is 44 plus XXY. With this it is very clear. To the 23rd pair, an extra copy of X chromosome is added. That's why karyotype of a male suffering from Klinefelter syndrome is 44 plus XXY. Hence, I can say this as 2n plus 1 condition. So, the total number of chromosomes present is 47 because extra copy of X chromosome is added to the 23rd pair. And what is the most important symptom of Klinefelter syndrome? Gynecomastia. Important question, many times asked. Gynecomastia is the important symptom of Klinefelter syndrome. Gynecomastia means the formation or development of the breast in males. That condition is called gynecomastia, which is the most important symptom of Klinefelter syndrome. And babies who take birth with Klinefelter syndrome also suffer learning difficulty. That condition is called dyslexia. And finally, the babies who take birth with Klinefelter syndrome are the phenotypic sterile males. Means their physical appearance is like a male, but they do not have functional testes. So they cannot produce sperms. That's why their physical appearance, they are the phenotypic males, but with rudimentary or non-functional testes. That's why I have used the word phenotypic sterile males. And this condition was reported by Dr. Klinefelter. Named after him, it is called Klinefelter syndrome. The next allosomal disorder given in the syllabus is Turner syndrome. And this condition was reported by Dr. Turner. Named after Dr. Turner, this condition is called Turner syndrome. And facts about Turner syndrome are here. Turner syndrome is the result of 23rd monosomy. So I can take it as an example for allosomal monosomy. There is one copy of chromosome is missing from the 23rd pair. That's why this condition is called 23rd monosomy. So Turner syndrome is the best example for allosomal monosomy. So what is the karyotype of a baby takes birth with Turner syndrome? Karyotype is 44 plus XO. So here O represents absence of a chromosome. And students, you know, normal female karyotype is 44 plus XX. And here you can clearly see one copy of X chromosome is missing. It is missing from which pair? 23rd pair. So that's why we call this condition as what? 23rd monosomy. So it is 2n minus 1 condition. So total number of chromosomes is 45. And finally, the babies who take birth with Turner syndrome are phenotypic sterile females. Means the babies who take birth with Turner syndrome, their physical appearance is like a female, but with non-functional ovaries. That's why I have used the word. They are phenotypic sterile females with underdeveloped female secondary sexual characters. So female secondary sexual characters are not well developed. Their ovaries are non-functional, but their physical appearance is like a female. Why, if you ask me? It's very clear. In humans, what is the type of sex determination? XXXY method. So presence of Y chromosome in the karyotype causes the maleness. Here in the karyotype, Y chromosome is absent. Hence their physical appearance is like female. But why they are sterile? one copy of X chromosome is missing, and if you come here and I said the babies who take birth with Klinefelter syndrome are phenotypic males, and if you ask me the question why their physical appearance is like a male, it is very clear. In their karyotype, a copy of Y chromosome is present which causes the maleness, but they are sterile. And why they are sterile? Because they have an additional copy of X chromosome in their karyotype. So this is all the information about the two allosomal disorders given in our syllabus, that is Klinefelter syndrome and Turner syndrome. Klinefelter syndrome is an example for allosomal trisomy. Turner syndrome is an example for allosomal monosomy. With this, we have completed with the topic chromosomal